Hi everybody, we have a new intro and I was dancing behind the scenes. I quite like the music to that one. I got all excited there. We are here and we have the usual team, the WDA, Jane next to me here, Maria obviously, but we also have Jenn here of Not So Mystical Tarot.
Hello. Yay. Thank you for having me.
I am just making sure we are all right on YouTube because it is playing up at the minute. But we will start talking and then we'll see if it's all right. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. So, Jenn, it's really nice to have you here. I think she's frozen a little bit, so we'll wait for Jenn to come back on. There she is. We are so happy to have you here. Jenn's Instagram is Not So Mystical Tarot. We follow her. We also follow Owls and Bones because you do a lot of work together, I believe.
Owls and Bones won my sigils deck.
Yes, Catherine
won it.
Yeah. You do a lot of work together, which is incredible. But I was going to ask you a few questions, if that's all right with you, before we go into anything. Hello, Stella. Sure. Firstly, I love the hashtag that you're using at the minute, A Gentler 2024, because I think we all need an absolutely gentler 2024 than 2023 was. Are you doing that every day, or is that something that, because you're posting spreads and how people can obviously experience a gentler 2024?
Well, you guys follow me, so you know I'm not super like airy-fairy and, toxic positivity, any of that. But to me, we can still grow, change, expand, but we can still do the hard work, but not cause ourselves terror and pain while doing it. Like there's a line, and I'm just trying to be a little nicer to myself. I'm kind of a black or white, it's this or it's that. And I'm trying really hard to kind of deep breathe in and dial it back a little bit, but I still want to grow. I want to learn. I want to change, but I don't want to be traumatized or terrorized while doing it. And I think there's got to be a happy medium. So it isn't about just like meditating and staring off into space for the whole year, but it's about remembering we don't have to be mean to ourselves to grow. We can grow in kindness. We can love ourselves a little bit and give ourselves a little bit of a break and a little bit of a rest and still do that hard work. So I want people to just remember that they don't have to be in pain to progress. So I'm weaving it. It was going to be just like a week or two of spreads. And I just decided we're going to do this all year. No matter what we're talking about, we can always remind ourselves, hey, we deserve a break too. We give everybody else a break. So I want to give us a little bit of a break too.
I think the thing is, I don't know about you, obviously, I know we have, but in the last year, we've been particularly hard on ourselves.
Yeah, I think we all waited for 2023 because we had that whole COVID thing and the lockdown and all the things that went on as a result of that. And I think, the first year we waited, we thought it'd be great. It was the same. The second year we waited, we thought it'd be great. It was the same. And so 2023, I don't know about you guys, but I was really excited. I was like, this is it. This is the year. We finally get back to like normal. And we're finding there really isn't a normal. And 2023 was rough. I did not see that coming. It was pretty brutal, at least for me. So I was really excited for 2024.
Absolutely incredible how many people have said how rough 2023 was.
I think it was one of the worst years, one of the best, but yes, one of the worst that I've actually had. I spent 6 months ill, really ill. I had the amazingness of things that I was actually able to achieve, but even that was still followed on by illness. And it was really, really hard just to kind of gain any kind of traction in the air, to be able to get that momentum, to be able to move forward, to be able to keep going, because there's always kind of something that was like presenting itself that was kind of saying, well, you need to slow down, you need to stop, you need to slow down. It was very hard year.
Yeah, it just, like you said, every time you thought maybe this was the time, some new thing would pop up that you just didn't expect, and it just took over everything. It just 2023 was very challenging, at least for me, and everyone I know felt the same way. So
yeah, but we're going into 2024 being kinder to ourselves, being a little bit more optimistic.
Let's hope.
Yeah, Maria's already been to StarCon, so you've had an amazing start to the year.
Yeah, I had, but last year started the same and it went downhill from there. So I'm still cautious, tiptoeing around 2024 and what it might do.
What it might do.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be we're going into that Aquarius, age of Aquarius now, isn't it? But we're going to be heading back into Capricorn and then back into Aquarius again. So this is going to be a bit of a flip-flop. I'm not really astrological savvy, but from Monty Farber, I follow him. He gives great insight, and Sheila Height's amazing as an astrologer. And how they kind of terminate it is, there's going to be a little bit of back and forth with it, but it's going to be a better way for us all to kind of be, rather than the singular, isn't it? It's more about the collective in that.
And I think your course that you do as well. I mean, there are so many, obviously, divination courses out there. We all bring something different to the table. But the aspect of yours, because obviously I've looked through the description and everything as you do, but coming from a heart space with it is a really nice aspect. You can tell actually from reading the description, like you say, that it's not overly woo, but it does dial back to make it a place for both beginners and advanced to come back again and really find that place for tarot with themselves.
Where can we find the course? Sorry.
It's on.
I'm sorry. No,
It's on Jenn's Instagram. If you go to the bio and click on the link tree there, you'll find it all there.
Yeah, I have to catch up with what we're talking about.
Sorry, Jenn, go ahead. Tell us a bit about the course.
Well, so I have a really good friend of mine who reads Akashic records, and she reads all different kinds of cards. And she said to me, probably about December 2022, she said, you know what? I really want to learn tarot. I want to get better at it. And guess what? You're going to teach me. And I said, oh my gosh, of course. Because I'm an Aquarius. So I feel like I know everything and I need to tell you all everything I know, because, that's what we do. Aquarius we're know-it-alls. It's kind of how we roll. And I said, oh, okay, great. And then I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to tell her? How do I even do this? So that course started out where every morning I would text her and say, okay, today we're doing this. And I wrote the course as I did it. And that's kind of how it ended up that way. And there is a place, and I really feel that there is a place for why is the background yellow? Why is his shoe blue? There is a place for that if you really want to dive in and get to it. But the thing I want to remind people is she had like 4 colors. Red, blue, yellow, black. I don't know how much depth went into what color this guy's shoe was. I mean, we can go on and on about that. People want to do that. That's totally cool. But I want to teach people how they can read tarot for themselves. If they want to read for other people, it's a whole different ballgame. I cover that in my class because ethics is something that I just beat it into everybody, because there's so many things that can go on ethically that I just absolutely will not do, don't approve of. And some people don't like my thought on that, and I don't care. I just think it's really important to keep what we do. I'm a very serious person. Everything with me is very serious, and it's very important, and I'm not too oh, whatever, that's just not, it's not me. So I wanted to make something that people could look at any Rider-Waite based deck and say, oh, that's a 7 of Wands. I know what this means. And you could appreciate the fun little bunnies or the little other art that was there, but deep in your heart, you knew this is what this means. And you can always build on that, but I wanted to give the foundation so that you could really understand and read with anything. That was important to me, that you would know the cards so well that if you wanted to read with a playing card deck and, you had the 5 of Hearts, that's the 5 of Cups and you know what it means. So I guess it's like I want to have people have that little encyclopedia within them, and then they can do whatever they want with it. They can go down that road of why things are certain colors or all of that. And I had some people in my class that had read for 40 years, and I had people that were brand new, and they all kind of grew together. And I didn't do like Zoom classes and all of that because I just thought we got a lot of that stuff to do already. So everything, it comes in an email once a day. Right now, the last session is over. I haven't scheduled a new one yet. I think I've done 3 or 4. I think I've done 4 of them. So taking a little break. It's a busy, my W-2 job is pretty busy with year end and tax time and stuff. So I'm taking a break from teaching that, but I definitely, as the spring comes, I'd love to do another session of it because it's really a fun way. And it's about 15 minutes a day. People don't have a lot of time, and you sit down with a book, and some of these books are fantastic that go through each card, and I love them. But you sit down with 78 cards, you've never read tarot before, and you're trying to memorize every single card. And it's really a daunting task. And most people, it's just too much. So I tried to break it down and kind of give people like a little bit of numerology and a little bit of, this is how you remember this. I try to give like references that we all know now, so that we can look at these and know right away, oh, this reminds me of this. Like certain cards remind me of like certain movie characters, and I'll mention them, and it might stick for some people, and I encourage people to do the same. If something in the card speaks to them and that's what helps them remember it, then that's your keyword,
Well, we always say if you can feel what that card means. So if you're speaking of coming from the heart or taking it to your heart even, if you can feel that card, you'll never forget what it means because you've probably you will have experienced that card at some time. So how does it feel? Then it is a much quicker way of embodying those cards than if you sat with a list of meanings.
And I think as well, I really like how you've touched upon like the ethics and ethics being important, because that's one of my major things is, and hammering it in to people is, you're as a reader, people coming to you and they're trusting you with the story of their life. They're coming to you because they don't trust themselves or they don't trust other people around them, and they're looking for insight and understanding as to what's happening. And that puts you as a reader in a very, very privileged position, because you're not only have you got access into their life and what's occurring within their life, but it's also how you're handling their emotions. And I think it's very important, that you do have that approach where you have to be ethical, and you always kind of have to leave people feeling empowered that no matter what they're going through, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and they have options and they are aware of actions in which they can take, empowering them to you can't change what's happening, but you can change how their mindset is about it or how they actually emotionally feel about it. And I think that's something that personally, I can't stress enough to people. And it's really nice when others have that same, about that ethics, because it is something that, there is a lot of people out there who'll just take people's money and say, that's your twin flame, and this is this, and this is that, and, pay me $500 now to remove these negative entities that surround you. And it's like, really?
Oh, don't even get me started. I always tell people it really isn't fortune telling. Yes, if you're intuitive, chances are you may know some things, but this is not fortune telling. It's not party tricks. And I like to, like you said, I want to give somebody something positive okay, I see that this is happening. What are we going to do? And that's my thing, is I like to give people a plan instead of, yep, well, that's really bad. Yeah, you're right. It's terribly bad. Your life is awful. I want to say, okay, well, what are we going to do? What can we do? What can we do next? You know, how do we move forward besides me just confirming that, yes, your life is bad. Okay, but how are we going to move forward? What are we going to do? And that's kind of you'll see, even on my Instagram posts, you know, I always try to find the solution. I try to find something to give people to take forward with them. I always want to see people moving forward and growing, not just kind of sitting and spinning in the same mess. It's so easy to get stuck there.
And that's the weird thing, isn't it? Because if your friends came round for a coffee and they were asking you or speaking about how shitty their life was, you'd sit there and you would try and come up with a solution for them. So it seems like the obvious thing that a tarot reader would do. Then you've got so much fear that is pumped in from people who are unethical, that sometimes as a good and ethical reader, you feel like a minority, especially when you see Instagram accounts or TikTok, etc., pumping these things out and getting trillions of views.
Like Dr. Abby, who got me back my husband.
Yeah,
Dr. Abiola. It's
oh.
God bless you. That's all I can say. You know,
people believe that. They're desperate. They will believe that. I have had people tell me, oh, well, this other reader told me if I wired her $1,000, she would buy, I forget, some kind of watch. And then she would have a spell and she would write on it and she would throw it off a bridge into this river. And I said, are you out of your mind? She was considering giving this person money. And I mean, I'm from New York. We don't do any of these things, but she was very much believing this other person. And I said, I don't care if you want to get a reading with me or not. If you don't, that's totally fine. But I am begging you not to send this other person $1,000 because they're not buying a watch, they're not doing a spell, and they're certainly not throwing the watch off the bridge. Like this is just wild nonsense. It's very frustrating to me. And that makes other people look at us and think, this is what you do. And that is not what we do.
The weird thing is not many people will know, but the WDA, the World Divination Association, actually comes from me working for a spiritual school early on. And one of the teachers there was doing this, telling people that they had an attachment, telling people that they had negative spirits around that she could get rid of if they paid her. And that was one of my first experiences in working in the spiritual environment. And, you know, seeing that, and I was working as a teacher at the same school and finding out from one of the students that this is what was happening, there was so much fire within me to say, wait a minute, this isn't right. Don't give her any more money. You know, this is wrong. And that's what kind of pushed me into going my own route and setting my own boundaries, my own ethical guidelines of what should be done, how you should teach even with ethics. So I've experienced that in a spiritual school, which is quite scary.
I think that we were speaking about this the other day as well. When I first kind of came into the spiritual community, and I've worked in healthcare in different settings and things like that. But I said to Tony, I think in all honesty, you know, everybody thinks the spiritual world, with all of these diviners and all these spiritual teachers and coaches and people, that they're all love and light. It is the most cutthroat world. It is like, it is more fierce, and it is under that, you know, you think everybody's going to be all great and all supportive and everybody's going to all help one another and everybody's going to do this. I have never been in anywhere that I think has been as like openly like
fierce.
in that way, you know, working in hospitals and things. I mean, I was 16 when I started working in the hospitals, and it was all about how you could care. You know, you had to care right. You had to do these steps, you had to take these steps, you had to provide this holistic approach to people. And it was, you know, not judging people and bringing everybody in. But it's very, very, I've never noticed as much fierceness as what is in the spiritual community. It really took me aback. And if I'd have been as strong in myself, I would have been maybe stepped back away from that, because it is something that can be quite a little intimidating even. You know, it's a strange, it's in an umbrella of openness and inclusiveness, but at the same time it brings a lot of side orders with it.
It does, but also the other side is pretty good. I mean, it can be super cutthroat, but on the other side of the coin is also like you can meet people that are really, really awesome.
Well,
but sometimes it's hard to tell.
Yeah, the thing, isn't it? I mean, we've all found each other, and there's so many people online. I could spend all day sitting and listing them that I consider like close friends, despite never met them in person. Who do have those ethical boundaries, who do want the best for people, who do care what kind of read they give across. So there's both flips of the coin. Yes, there is toxicity.
It's just something I wasn't expecting. I expected everybody was going to be like, hey, hi, woo. And it's really, I was quite actually taken aback, because you do think everybody's going to be super amazing. And it's quite like when you see these people, Dr. Have a ball or whoever it is, you know, come and we could do this spell for you. It actually, it shocked me, because
I wouldn't call those spiritual people, really. I think you gravitate towards those people who really are well-meaning and really want the best for everybody. I think you gravitate towards that. Like I say, at first I experienced negativity, but quickly after, as soon as, you know, I'm putting myself forth as what I am and what I want to be, then similarly those beautiful people then gravitate towards you as well.
You do find your tribe.
Yeah, you do. You find your people, and I'll tell you, some of my very best friends in the entire world I met on Instagram. It is true. I call it the digital coven, and I say we have the best community. And I think the core group of so many of us that want to teach and want to share with everybody and want to support each other, there's a lot of us, and we drown out the nonsense. You know, we teach our followers, if someone DMs you that the ancestors have spoken, and, you know, this is nonsense. You know, we had to teach a lot of our followers that, because they, you know, they didn't know. They follow us. We're not trying to do anything to them. But it's really important to say too, there are so many wonderful, wonderful people in this community. I mean, there's a small group of people that I'm pretty close with. We have like a little group chat that we keep, and I call it the Digital Coven. And I'll tell you, we have like lost people and laughed and cried and lost pets and had babies and bought houses. And I mean, the four of us have never met in person. And I think we're going to try to plan that, but we're as far away as you could possibly be in the US at least. And, but I'll tell you, like, those are the people that you go to when something's going weird. They're the people that you go to. And that's why I always say, I love this community as much as I don't like some of the weird stuff that goes on. There are some amazing people in this community, and it's so wonderful to find them. And I think we just, instead of like focusing on them, like we all did it at first, you know, we all have, and I still keep one on my post sometimes, you know, we won't DM you and all that, but I think like we're done with that. Yeah. I think we've educated people enough and we're done with it. And these other people are just going to go move on to some other community and bother them, because our community is pretty strong.
It's funny you say that, because today I opened Instagram up and I'd got a copy again. And whereas before I would have posted and say, you know, report this person and everything, I looked at it and they've even got my link tree with all my links in. And I thought,
Yeah.
all right then. You know, if you want to do that, that's fine. You're sharing my stuff. Fair enough. So I think exactly what you say, we're all kind of ignoring that now and just focusing. You know, we all met online. I met Jane online, and we're living together now here in Northern Ireland. I met Maria online, and we finally met in Spain last year.
Wow.
So, you know, and the hardest time of my life in the last 10 years or so, Maria's been there. And Maria was the person who messaged me every single morning to see if I was all right. You know, really helped me get through that. So it really does stand testament to the spiritual community in that respect, that you do really find your best friends.
Yeah, agreed.
It's true.
And speaking of best friends, we have Catherine is watching, Dark Fae Tarot, hello. Julie Crenshaw says your course is amazing. A Place to Dock, Tessa, hello. Brant, hello. Larry Smith says you are awesome. Erica's on, Erica L. Rebecca McCartney says hello. And Out and Bones, Catherine says the other side is quite lovely, and I've met so many great quality people.
Yeah, I think when I'm speaking of that, I mean, when I first came onto this spiritual kind of thing, and I was still full of fear as well. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? You have this bit of feelings because you're just opening up to everything. And there's that excitement, but at the same time, a lot of people have that fear, and there was a lot of people that were trying to gain with that as well at the same time, shall we say. But it is something that I was incredibly lucky, because Tony actually, those that don't know, actually found me online, found my posts. I'd literally started posting. I'd been doing little reads, and people were gasping with what I was telling them. And Tony saw my post online and commented, and that was literally how we met. And then Tony moved heaven and earth and moved from Germany to Northern Ireland, and Maria was integral in that as well, because obviously Maria was a friend to Tony, but she was also
I've got a t-shirt.
You got a t-shirt from when we first met.
I knew first.
I have a t-shirt with their faces that says I knew first.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, I love that.
I need to bring that more on the lives.
You do.
And on that note, that's how you met. But when Tony found me in a way as well, we had met before.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't great, but we've forgotten that part. But then I met her, like properly met her. And one thing I can say about Tony is that she helps you, like she really means it. And that is something that you don't usually find out there.
Thank you. She doesn't usually say nice things about me.
Well, enjoy it, because you are not getting another one until next year.
That's 2024's compliment.
That's 2024 for you.
Magic.
You're just getting mean stuff from me until next year.
Well, that's normal. I wouldn't want it any other way, Maria.
Oh, that's lovely.
We'll
you have to post. You have to post you in that shirt so we can see it, because that sounds adorable. I love that.
Yeah, I love
that.
A nice shirt.
We had it sent so that she could have it for the first live, or for when Tony actually got over, because it was 7 months.
7 months we kept it quiet that I was moving to the UK, and 7 months.
I was dying for the to be scaled.
Yeah, but it went well. You managed.
I love that. I love that.
It is a story, and you know, to say that we all met online is mad, isn't it?
It is, but I got to know you both because Red Wheel Wiser sent me your Sirens deck. And I opened it, and because I had seen like a flash of it, and I thought that is really cool. And I knew like this much about Lenormand, so I was like, oh, I know about tarot, but I wanted to tell you both that deck was amazing for me because I fell in love with it, and that is the deck that I decided to really dive in and learn Lenormand with. And Catherine had gotten it as well, so that's when we did our little free masterclass thing, and one of the weeks was learn Lenormand, and I think we both used that deck. I can't remember for sure, but I will say learning Lenormand was one of the absolute coolest things ever. It's so blunt, and I'm so blunt, so it was just just like two peas in a pod. And the really cool thing about that, I just wanted to say to anybody, like, if you're trying to learn tarot, or you're trying to learn Lenormand or Sibylla or Kipper or any of these things, and you feel like you're stuck, this sounds totally counterproductive, but stop and try to learn a different system. Because I'll tell you, like, because with anything you read, you get kind of like, this means this and this means that, and it can get kind of dull. When we stopped and we really dove into Lenormand, and all of a sudden it did click, just like tarot, it clicks. And I'll tell you, I read tarot differently, and I think better now because we dove into Lenormand the way we did. It makes a difference because you get more of the directional reading, and it's just, I don't know, I just thought it blew my mind because this is silly, but I was like, am I cheating on tarot? Because tarot is my love. Tarot is my first love. It's what I've always loved. I still struggle with runes. Like, I work on them, but I don't feel that, like, I struggle. I forced myself, but I struggle with them. But learning Lenormand changed my tarot practice. Even after all of these years, it felt like it was brand new. So if you feel stuck in one system, or you feel like it's just kind of what I do every day, I'm reading, learn something different, because it really changes everything. It opens everything up so much. And I noticed my tarot reading is different because of it. It really is. It's a really neat deck. I love it.
Tarot was always my first go-to deck. And then I started reading Lenormand, and it kind of was inching in a little bit. But then I moved to Germany, and I got an original deck with the original meanings. And I met German readers who were reading in a fashion of directionality and everything. And I found exactly the same. That was, for me, that was my, all right, this is it. This is it. And it quickly became my first love, even though, I'm sorry, tarot. It quickly took over. But then when I went back to reading tarot again, it was like I was reading it with whole new eyes. And I had such a huge connection then with my tarot readings that I didn't have as much before, or maybe age helped as well. But it completely changed my style of reading, and I couldn't then not see what I'm seeing now after reading Lenormand.
Julia, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I had a similar experience with tarot. I focused on Lenormand for a bit, and tarot has always been like my thing. But I moved to Lenormand, and when I came back, I then, like, everything clicked. And actually, I started what I call my tableau cult, which has a lot of Lenormand techniques in it. And I think it can be really useful to help you connect the dots when you are reading tarot, that can be so ample in its meanings and in how you can interpret each card. So absolutely a tip to keep in mind. Learn Lenormand or something else, but Lenormand is a good one.
Lenormand's. Sorry, Jen, you go ahead.
It's okay. No, I have like lots of things always to say, so I just, it's fine.
Lenormand.
I just said I
love Lenormand.
We keep cutting each other.
I love Lenormand, but it is, for me, Lenormand is a really it gives me 4 horses of the apocalypse on a daily spread. It is like, it is cruel to me. It's quite like, there is something, I don't know whether it's me, I don't know whether it's spirit, but Lenormand, although I like to read it, it doesn't give me very nice readings. I use runes. I love them. Blunt. It would literally, it's like, it is like death and devastation for me on a daily basis.
Seriously.
It's like, seriously, it is like, you know, I'll just go back to bed then. But runes and Ogham are, runes in particular, runes is something that I can honestly say I love, and I love it just as much, if not more, than tarot. Tarot is my like original love. It was like that, whoa. But runes bring something that's entirely different to tarot, Lenormand, Kipper. It brings such a, it's an energy, and the essence in what runes brings, and the depth of what you can bring and reach from that is just, I'll never stop being amazed by what you can find out. I'll never stop being amazed by what they can actually offer. I think it's just something that, well, it literally, my heart lights up when I cast my runes. When I pull my dailies, I just know it, I see it, I feel it, and it's like, well, hey, off we go. And I think it's, yeah, it's special in a different way for me.
I think we all have something that clicks, and I love that. We can all learn from each other. And like sometimes when we post, I was saying, my friend Julia is in here, and A Place to Dock. And when we did our Lenormand challenge, when we were kind of learning Lenormand, I said, will you please do this with us? Because she's so good. You know, there was a handful, Michael Jarmo and Andy White. There was a whole group of people. I said, please do this with us. Or even if you don't have time, that's fine. But will you read our posts and like tell us if we're crazy or wrong? Like we're ready for it. And that really was, the community did, we all kind of came together in this big clump, and, you know, and we said, share what you think. If you think we're not right, say, you know, tell us why, teach us. And that was really, you know what, there was not a harsh word said. That's the thing. There's a lot of love in this community, no matter what you're doing. And like the rune, I have a few people I follow that are very rune specific, and I read those and I'm like, wow, you know, and I just keep trying to learn from them. So that's why I love that everybody has a certain thing that really catches them, and that we all can share that and we all can learn from it. I just think it's important. Like, well, I want to be the best at everything, and I'm not, I just can't be, you know, so learning from other people is really great. And that's one of the things that I do love about our community, is that the people who are there for the right reasons, you can tell. They offer advice, they encourage people, you know, they don't say, oh, that's wrong, go back to school. They say, you know, have you thought about it meaning this? And that's the way people learn. They learn through kindness. They learn through care. They don't learn through, as my husband would say, you know, killing a fly with a hammer. They don't learn that way. People don't learn by being hurt. They learn by being held. And that to me is the difference. And I love that everybody shares their thing, you know.
Does Julia have an Instagram handle?
Yeah, she's A Place to Dock.
Or the same, A Place to Dock.
Yeah, I think she's watching.
I think
yeah, she's great.
You can never learn enough, and you never know everything. And there's always something that you can learn, and there's from everyone else, and there's always something that everyone else can learn from you too. And that's the beauty of learning. And I think it's something that you've got to find the fun in it when you're learning a system. You have to have fun to learn as well. You've got to find some fun in what you're learning, whether that's like, yes, I've got this, I know what this card means, and I've got this, you know, I've strung these together. You know, that little bit of excitement that you have about actually getting something right or feeling something, you know, having that passion for it. You need to have that fun, because the minute when you're learning, if you have that brick wall and it stops becoming fun, or you have somebody putting you down saying, that's terrible, that's wrong, is the minute you stop and you go, I'm no good with this. This isn't meant for me. Whereas if you can find that kind of, you've got to have a bit of, I always class it as, I don't say it when I'm working with my cards, or I play with my cards, I play with my rooms, I play with them. It's play to me because it's fun. I don't see it as work, it's fun. And that's the way I think it's meant to be in some respects as well, because that's how you actually open yourself up to learning more about it. Because as children, you learn through play, you learn having fun. Maybe it's because I'm brain damaged that I actually have to have fun, or
She really is. That wasn't a joke.
I actually I've got an acquired brain injury, so my attention, yes, isn't it?
We have to be very careful.
Love the clarification.
She does have an acquired brain injury.
So if something isn't captivating me, it doesn't hold my attention. If I'm not finding something fun, then my brain just kind of won't take it in, you know. So it kind of, how I learn is right back as a kid, really. Have fun doing it, because it makes you more open to everything that it brings.
Well, for all those Lenormand readers out there who really love their system, we always have a Lenormand Summit every year, which is full of teachers. So if anybody is going to put their big girl or big boy pants on and wants to take a speaker slot, they can contact me.
Me.
info@theworlddivinationassociation.com. We are always looking for lovers of Lenormand to speak at the conference.
I have a new deck. I haven't shown you my new Lenormand deck.
No, you haven't. What is it?
No, it's Erica's Lenormand of Hope.
Oh, go away. How did you get it first?
I got it in StarCon.
You've got it in the mini version.
Yes.
I can't wait for mine.
It is pretty. Look at this.
Really? Wow.
It's got so many flowers and stuff.
That's
but it's still
Erica's
clear.
Lenormand.
Yeah, it's still very clear. I love it. The big version is delightful, but it is bigger than a Lenormand, so it would not work for my baby hands.
Oh, I didn't know.
But the tin that it comes in, seriously.
Die for. Maria, I've got a deck for you. I'm finally ready to let go of it.
What?
I have a deck that I am finally ready to give you.
Are you really?
I am. Are you
Are
ready?
you really?
I am.
I am ready.
You know
I'm ready. I want to see.
There's like,
well, it's mine, Jane.
What is it?
It's mine.
Hold on.
Is it not over there?
I'm walking around the room looking for it.
There's like,
yes. Are you ready to receive it, Maria?
Oh my God.
I'm ready to let go of it, to give it.
Oh my God. I love that deck. And you know what you're getting? See, this is, Jen, this is the quality of our friendship. That's what she has for me. This is what I have for her.
It says,
I love it.
This is what I have for her.
Utopia, Michelle Welsh, isn't it?
Yes. Quality. She's giving me a wonderful limited edition deck, and what I have for her is a fuck off bracelet.
I love it. That's a real friend right there. That is
Quality.
a real friend.
Quality right there. Oh my God, that deck is beautiful.
So I realized I saw it on the shelf the other day and I thought, I'm ready.
Are you ready? Oh my God.
It's only
someone
been
was asking for this one.
3 years.
Someone was asking for this deck. It's Erica's Lenormand of Hope.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. Get it.
It was on Kickstarter with La Panthera Studio.
Yes.
And I know Alison Bourne had said about she'd love to be able to thing the energy with the runes, like build on a rune thing. And what I will do is I'll extend an invite to herself and you, Jen, if you're wanting to be involved in that. If you're wanting to actually do some runes, do some rune stuff, then I'll quite happily give you some of my time and run you through. I've got videos on YouTube with the meanings, and I think one of the fundamental things is it's a language that was designed, way back, and it's about making it modern and seeing it what it is, what it means now, so that it clicks a bit easier. So if you want to do that at any point in time, give us a shout and I will give you my time and get you cracking with your runes.
I
She's
would
got
love
a book.
that.
I don't know where it
I
is,
have-
but it's
What?
good.
What are you talking about?
About Jane's book on runes.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, like she's got a book and it explains it really well. It's not long.
Okay.
It's really easy. I don't know where it is.
She doesn't use it. She's never read it.
She doesn't read.
I have read it.
She reads my book. She
You know
says
what?
she
I
never-
never read your book on Scat. That I have never opened. But
Thank you. Caesar's we're doing show and tell.
but the rune book I've read and it's really good.
Jen sang
Oh, you know, I missed I wanted to buy it at StarCon,
a
but
treasure
then
box.
I missed the chance.
it's just we just
It's
got it
beautiful.
the other day. Came from Kickstarter. It is a lovely deck. It's all piratey and it's got a nice little.
I wanted that one.
Well, maybe it sits on my shelf until it's ready to come to you.
Okay.
Using it until then, obviously.
It's very beautiful.
We
Oh, I love
missed you
those cards.
again. Not so
Yes.
mystical tarot.
You had a tarot deck?
I have a deck. My deck sold out 4 times, and I just I do have a W-2 job, and I can't be Amazon and my regular job as well. So I've thought about maybe like over the summer, because I work more part-time in the summer, which is really nice. Where I am, it's seasonal, so I work crazy full-time from October through April, and then in the summer I work like 20 hours a week. So I thought about bringing it back, and then I thought maybe it's time to just do something else, because it was an indie deck, and it was really successful, and that actually happened because of Catherine. That's the only reason that deck ever made it out into the world, because I shared a couple pictures and wrote a little whatever, and Catherine messaged me. This was in like 2020, and she said, "What is it? What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, just nothing." And she said, "Is it a tarot card? What are you doing?" And I was like, "Yes, but it's stupid, And I was like, "Oh, I just can't." And she said, "Okay, send it to me." And that is actually how, because I'm famous. I always call this the 90%. I have these huge ideas and I do all the stuff, and then I go, "Oh God, no one's gonna like that," and then I just shove it in a drawer and I go forget about it because nobody will like it. But now, like, I'm a lot older too. Like, I mean, I'm going to be 53 coming up here, and now I don't care if people don't like it. Like, I don't care at all. If people said, "Oh, your deck is stupid," and I hate it, I'd say, "Oh, okay, good for you." But at the time, even though 4 years ago I was like, "Oh, I don't know," and Catherine's like, "What is wrong with you? This is cool. Make this a thing," And I did, and it was really fun. It was really a neat experience. Indie decks, I know they cost a little bit more, but man, there's a reason for that. It is so expensive as an indie creator. That's why I say a lot of times I'll buy the mass market deck after it comes out too, but I love an indie deck. I just, the love that goes into those. How much work it is, and how much, printing and all of these things you didn't think you'd ever have to know or deal with happen. But that was a neat experience. I've thought about bringing it back, and then I thought maybe it is what it was, and that was great. And like, sometimes you bring stuff back and it's just not relevant. So I think I have my original. It's all beat up, but there's still a lot of copies. It went all over the world, and that was really neat. But I think it's time for a new project. I just think it's time for something else.
Did you do a Lenormand?
You could do something like
There's
that.
not-
I will say I have notes. I have considered it. I have some ideas for something along those lines, because it is nice when I love Lenormand for that reason, that you can customize it. I love that you can customize the relationships. You can customize maiden, mother, crone. You can familiar, dog, cat. You can kind of, and I really love that you can really get. That's the thing. Lenormand is brutal, but it's so specific, and you can't miss the message there. With tarot, I think sometimes we can choose a different interpretation if we want to or need to. But Lenormand, you are not getting away without a scar from Lenormand, and I love that. But I also like that you can make it so specific. So I have some notes. I don't know if I'm ready to do that again. I feel like I probably will do something.
I'm sure that everybody watching and us would really like you to do that. And we'd
I'm
really
thinking about it.
well, we're going to have
I'm
to push
thinking about it.
step. And on that note, everybody, please follow Jenn at Not So Mystical Tarot. Please
Thanks.
send her a DM and say we all need that Lenormand deck. Give her a push down that direction, because that's what we need. All Lenormand decks in the world.
And
We need all of them. Yeah.
Catherine has said that she's saying yes for herself and you for having some runes time. So I will message me and I'll sort that with you. And if you fancy OM, I'm trying to get that going and people reading OM. I don't know if you've heard about that. That's a traditional Irish language. It's the earliest Irish language, and it is much like the runes, but it's lines instead. So if you sort of want to start doing some spreads and things with stuff like that, then
and if you would like to join us at the Lenormand Summit, we also have some conferences coming up. We have Divination Pride in June, which will be a free conference celebrating Pride, and then we've not decided yet, Maria, but I think it was November, the virtual event, the Big Bang, we have running. So you're very welcome to come and speak with us at those.
I would love that. I love that. It's amazing. I would love it.
So thank you for coming. And
thanks for having me.
We'll see everybody. We are taking a break next week.
Yes, I'm going to England on Thursday.
Oh, what for? Are you?
Yes,
to see a family.
I'm going to see my parents and my mum and dad and my sister and stuff. I haven't actually seen my mum and dad in 4 years, so I'm actually very, very excited to be able to go and see them.
Bring me something.
I'm getting my mum to bake. She's baking for me.
You can't send bacon to Spain.
I can't send
No,
cake.
you can't. but you can buy me chili lace. Chili Walkers. Yeah, Walker sensations.
And crisps or chips in America.
Yeah.
Too. All right then, everybody, have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much, Jenn, for being here. We'll see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye-bye.